Taylor Swift recently released All Too Well Over Again about Jake Gyllenhaal keeping her scarf, and people are asking, how does he feel that this has come back? I don't get any feelings like malice or anger from him, really. I just don't sense that. If anything, it's more joking. It's come back to haunt him. Because this is years ago and they've moved on with their own lives now, you know? Let's just see how he feels. How does he feel? How does he feel that this has all come back again? I keep hearing come back to haunt him. But also him having a giggle about some of the memes out there, because they're really funny. If you see some of them, they're really, really funny. I think his mates have been winding him up as well about them too. So let's just pull 2 or 3 and just see what the energy is around him when he thinks about this topic. This is actually quite interesting because, wow, this came up before, how he sees her as the Queen of Cups, which is the very super sensitive, kind, sensual, nurturing, loving woman here. And in a way, this is actually quite interesting because I do feel there was almost like a soul connection between them, because we have the 2 of Cups here, which means a very strong, very intense connection. There's no devil energy in there at all. There's no sexual chemistry as much. It's more a meeting of minds. I just heard a meeting of hearts. And I heard he's a big softie, so all the crap he is getting as well. Okay, yeah, it didn't end well at all. But I hear in his heart he is a big softie and he's very loving and tender as well. And it was almost like a meeting of hearts, I hear, not minds. So there was a connection there. But then again, the overall energy, I mean, obviously we know what happens. It's like sadness and heartache, and it twist the knife in. So I heard that he feels like she's twisting the knife in, but he deserves it, I just heard. He feels like he deserved it for the way things ended, and he could have done it better. It's almost like the energy, like if he had the experience he had now as what he did back then, it would have been very, very different, and it probably would have been more of I hear a sit down. He wished he'd done a sit down conversation than the way it ended. He was just not ready to be stable. I mean, yeah, guys, this whole energy was not ready to be stable. I mean, when we look back then, the 2 of Wands means looking at our other opportunities. Now, because this is a romance reading, often when this comes up, it means he's looking out at other opportunities when it comes to love and romance and not wanting to be tied down to one person. And I heard in a way back then he saw her as a small town girl, as in somebody that was wanted to go the full hog with like love, commitment, marriage, family. And he wasn't in that zone at all. He was not in that zone at all. So he did see her as very intelligent, sweet, pure, good upbringing, good parents, good family, very grounded, very traditional in her outlook of what she wanted in life back then. And he didn't want that. 2 of Wands is looking out at other people, okay? If it was a 3 of Wands, it usually means they're reflecting inwards at the connection. So I do feel there was a connection there. I keep hearing a meeting of hearts, but when it came to it, he just wasn't ready. But I do feel he wished he did it differently, and I do keep hearing the word sit down. He wished he'd sat down, because apparently it happened over text. And then we get the confrontations, the arguments, and the heartbreak and the sadness. And a lot of people are drawn into this, by the way. I hear a lot of people picking sides. Now, I just heard Team Taylor. Now, I don't know if she had all the team together back then. You know, like you have the Taylor squad. I don't know if she had all these people around her back then, because this is in kind of like the early stages, I think. But I do hear Team Taylor, not Team Taylor, Taylor squad. So it almost like created a divide, and I feel like people had to choose between one or the other. It was almost like a music group and an actors group, and it caused a lot of conflict because of this. And I feel she really pushed hard because she was so devastated for people to, I hear pick a side, choose your lane. I just heard it's almost like you need to choose your lane. You're either supporting me or you're supporting him. So it was very cut. It was. I think they both lost people in either parties for a while. Even he may have had some female companions that he lost to her group. It was almost like a split. I'm going to pull 2 more. Again, guys, look. This is his energy. This is not now. This is energy back then, okay? 6 of Pentacles. Being very giving, very kind, very affectionate. He did treat her well. How do I explain it? He treated her well until he didn't. It's almost like when he was with her, he was kind, he was affectionate, okay? He was giving, okay? But this kept coming through, where he played down their connection. And it is pretty much like in the video, that kind of thing about the scene about the dinner table where he plays it down. Whereas when they were together, he was really loved up, sensitive, tender. But when it was almost like put out there, it's almost like a bit of a joke. Oh, she's going to want to tie you down soon, you know. And he's still a bit of a lad. He was going out with his friends and stuff, and he didn't want to commit. 8 of Swords is like, I do not want to commit. This is a commitment phobe card. So even though I feel privately, this is why it was so, I hear headfuck relationship, sorry. Because even though he was so kind and giving to her, And he was sensitive, and he was tender, and he was loving. He is naturally like that, okay? The lad side, the side where he was looking out and he didn't really want anything serious. And I do feel, I remember he was older than her, and I do feel he got a lot of stick from his mates, like joking about it, that she was so young and in a way naive about life back then, and just kind of like, he was on the Hollywood party scene kind of thing. She wasn't really into that then. So her side of it was very young, pure kind of love. And he was kind and sweet, but overall, this energy overrides everything. And I think his friends overrided everything as well. I do think he took a lot of stick for that relationship as well. I can't remember the age gap, guys. But really quickly, I just wonder, let's just have a look at the energy. How does Taylor feel about this now? I honestly just heard water under the bridge. Okay? Water under the bridge. It's almost like, I hear she's poking the bear, which is him. It's almost like more of a teasing mentality, and teasing and bringing it back up again, having a laugh over it, than doing it to be really conniving and mean. It's not that kind of energy. I hear water under the bridge and poking the bear, more like teasing and, you know. But underneath, has she got over it? Because I know when you have somebody that breaks your heart, that can follow you around for years. Okay, so let's just see. How does she feel about him now? I mean, well, her affection's gone. That's her leaving him out on the cold. That's literally her walking away. Her heart's obviously not in it anymore. She hasn't really got any feeling there. I do hear it's more of a wind-up, and I keep here teasing, poking the bear, bringing it out again. But this is literally her and the coldness and snow. Like, no, it's not happening anymore. How else does she feel? This is really random, guys. What I'm getting here, the possession card here is almost like possession over the words in the song. Now, I do feel somewhere he may have tried to put something on her where he was trying to stop her. What are those things called where they give you almost something legal to say you can't talk about them, you can't speak about them? There's something about the song when it came out, it was about him. I think there's some legalities in the background where she may have got a warning saying, you know, you can't bring this out publicly and actually name him and things like that. And in a way, she was very protective over her song and her words and thought, you know what, F off. I'm going to bring this out no matter what. This is what you did. This is how I felt it's going out there. So she still feels very defensive after all these years that this is her song, her words, and she's going to bring it out whenever she wants. It's almost like a protection over the song and the lyrics, and she can do whatever the hell she wants with it. It's almost like that, holding this song tight and like, you're not having any of this. You're not getting any money from it, and you're not going to stop this. I just feel there was something. I hear he tried to put the brakes on this song in some way, as in slow it down, and especially when, I don't know if she actually named him, guys, so you have to let me know, but there's something about illegalities where he seriously looked in or gave us some kind of warning saying, if you put this out there, I'm going to follow through with something else legally. Really, I hear put the brakes on, stop it. And she's protective over this song. Right, last two cards. In a way, yep, the energy around this when she brought this out, even now, is almost like the Queen of Swords. Very cutting with her words, straight to the point, very much in her power, not afraid to say it anymore, not afraid of repercussions or the actions or what's going to come out of this song. Literally, it's like, I'm doing it. You know, it's meaningful to my friends, my fans. I'm putting it out there. I don't really care. I really don't care. The whole energy about this is more positive now. It's not reflecting like on all the bad times. It's almost like I hear a bit of a joke about it, poking the bear. It meant something to her. It still holds something to her. The lyrics in the song mean something to her massively. And she's very protective over it. And it's not going anywhere. That's it. Okay. We're going to finish off. Oh, no. Great card to finish off about this whole reading is the Tower. So again, everything falling apart, the connection falling apart, no way back, no interest in going back with him, no interest in any of it, really. It's just, it's almost like an FU. Even after all these years, it's a bit like an FU. I'm going to put it out there, I'm going to do my own thing. And in a way, I keep hearing antagonise and poke the bear. So she doesn't hate him. There's no energy about, I hate you after all these years, I'm really bitter or anything like that. I do feel it's a bit of teasing going on. I definitely feel she's over it. And I do feel it's almost like she's in her own power now, and she's going to do what the hell she wants, because I do feel somebody tried to put the brakes on and stop it coming out, or stop him being named in some way. But no, he's not a bad, I don't get anything about him being a bad guy. I do think he was sweet and sensitive and loving and kind, and that's what his heart is. But it was just, no, he was not looking for that back then. And she was a lot more, when you really believe in something, you know, when you really have that pure love, where you just give with all your heart and you don't realise they're holding back or they don't want the same things of you. I hear idealistic, so her views were too idealistic back then about the connection, you know. So that's it, guys. That is the reading this morning. She's got no hate there, no malice from what I can see at all. I just hear poking the bear, having a bit of a wind up, basically. Bye, guys.